So it's a beautiful Saturday. Yesterday I did my weekly Friday webinar for authentic attorneys, often empathic attorneys. And the topic was the 5 ways that otherwise smart attorneys do really stupid things and mess up their lives. And I used to make recordings of this because the word would get out. People would tell their friends, "Oh, that was great." They want copies, and I want them to experience it. But after the last couple of weeks, especially after we did the webinar on empathic lawyering, I realized, wait a minute, there's a mood that we're setting, one of intimacy and transparency and trust. And I don't want to put a microphone in people's face or a Zoom recording in progress and ruin the mood. So I don't do that anymore. So instead, I record these short summaries, and I'll also use this as an opportunity to kind of infomercial whatever the topic is of the webinar. It's a chance for us as attorneys to come together with people that share what it is we're doing, share the challenges, share the triumphs, to be able to do it in a way that there's no posturing, there's no pretense. It's authentic, it's real, and if you want a chance to experience that, feel free to come. All right, enough of the plug. On to the 5 ways that really smart lawyers do really stupid things and make decisions they regret. And what I did in preparation for that webinar is I reverse engineered the experience that I have, a lot of my clients have, lawyers that I've seen, friends, whatever, who end up in a position where they have regrets about things that they decided to do or not to do. And I put them into 3 different categories. The first is I call the Monty Hall, let's make a deal, which is, keep the money. No, take us behind the curtain. You got to guess between 2 things, and you may, keep the money and there was a car behind the curtain, or you may have given the money up and there was a goat behind the curtain. Whatever, you guessed wrong. No blame. What are you going to do about that? The second one is what I call a bug in the program, which is that you put all the best information as you think it through as well as you can. You put it into the processor, but it spits out a decision that turns out not to be in the best interest, and one which you wish you could have a do-over for. And again, what are you going to do? You put the best stuff in, okay? You may think I'm going to think harder or put more stuff in. You can if you want. But for a lot of times what happens is we just do the best we can with what we have to work with, and we just guess wrong, whatever, come up with a decision that we wish we could do otherwise. Also, not much blame. The third one is what I call NBW. After I sold my law practice, we started a software company, and my IT director would, field calls from customers, and he'd shake his head and he goes, "That was an NBW. That was the nut behind the wheel," meaning it was operator error. And I mentioned I practiced law in a penitentiary town, and I'd ask a lot of the inmates, "How'd you end up here? Why'd you do that?" And they'd say, "It seemed like a good idea at the time." So a lot of time we do things and it seemed like a good idea at the time, but maybe we knew it wasn't a good idea at the time. Or more accurately, what probably happened is we weren't coming from the right place. And this is something that became very clear yesterday as we shared our experience as attorneys. That when we come from a place of fear, we come from a place of scarcity, we come from a place of, of course we've got to be competitive, but I'm talking about, rip people's throats out type of competitive, from scarcity, from lack, from just, rarely do we come up with a good decision. Those are the ones we end up regretting. When we come from a place of peace, when we're most aligned with the best part of ourselves and the best part of life, that's when we tend to end up in the right place. And if we make a decision that seemingly we could have, made a different one that came out better, there's a certain amount of understanding and peace, and we're okay with it. We can live with it because we know that we brought the best part of ourselves and the best part of life to that. So how do we do that? How do we center ourselves, or how do we bring ourselves to a position that however the processing goes, and whether we guess right and keep the money or take the goat, or whether we, put the best information into it or whatever, how do we come to a situation where we can have the best possible outcome because we're bringing the best version of ourselves into the process? And I shared with the group yesterday what I call the 3 keys of enlightened decision making. And these are bits of wisdom my beloved father imparted, not in, I put them together into a program, but these are all pieces of advice that he gave me in terms of helping to make decisions in my own life. And these are questions that I would encourage you to ask yourself that will put you into the best self that you are, to make the decisions so that irrespective of how it turns out, you'll probably have the best outcome. But even if it's not what you think is the best outcome, in time will reveal itself to be the best outcome because it was aligned with you and aligned with life. The first question to ask is this mine to do? And there's a lot of things that come to us. Maybe we want to take the case. We don't want to take the case. We want to set a precedent. Whatever it is. And it's good that that case gets taken or that the precedence gets set. But it might not be mine to do. And what I've found is if I take something on, it seems like, it'd be laudatory or whatever, but I know in my heart, it's not mine. It's someone else's to do. So rather than have the voices in your head that say, I should, or someone else's voices, to really ask yourself, first of all, is it mine to do? And this will separate you from a lot of charging windmills or whatever that aren't in your best interest and don't turn out well. The second one is, how does a decision make me feel? And again, all these require some subtleties. And I'm sure if I went to court, someone could argue the other side very, very well because they'd be doing it logically and not from their heart. And this is all about the heart. How a decision makes me feel is I sit and I think, okay, my mind can go through, if I do this, it'll this or this. No, but really, if I make this, how does that land in me? How does it land in my heart? How does that land in the best part of myself, the deepest part of myself, maybe the divine part of myself, if you will? And this requires an amount of self-understanding and in touch with your feelings, but also brings back a greater sensitivity to that. And so again, this is mine to do. How does the decision make me feel? And the third one is probably the most controversial. At least it was yesterday, because it's so prone to being, misconstrued. And that is, what is the most loving choice I can make in the next moment? And look, I'm not saying loving, people think, that means I just got to go be a doormat, and take the first offer that that the insurance company, the DA or the plaintiff's attorney makes or whatever. No, it's not peace, love, dove kind of stuff. No, it's like, what is it that expresses the best part of yourself, that puts out the most love for the most people? And what that really does is put you in touch with the best part of yourself. And that's what this is all about. Look, between us, the decision doesn't matter. What matters is what you brought to the table, how you're showing up in life. When you show up in life as the most loving person who is in touch with themselves and because they know how something makes you feel and has enough discernment to know if this is mine to do or not, then you're showing up right. When you show up right, that's all you can ask of yourself. And dare I say, that's all life can ask of you. And that is the best way to keep from screwing up your life. Come from the right place before you start the decision-making process and consider these three questions. Is this mine to do? How does the decision make me feel? What is the most loving choice I can make? This will all engender a greater discernment. And you will find that, yes, there will be things that happen and you wish, if I could do over again, I'd like a do-over, whatever. That's okay. That's life. That comes with it. I'm not saying you're going to live a regret-free life. But I can tell you that you're going to really like who you are. You're going to love how things turn out, and you're really going to love the people that you attract into your life.